Things are starting to get really sticky with this Tyler Robinson situation, and we're going to talk about it.
Nikki in the building, baby. Nikki in the building, baby. In Cahoots podcast. Yeah. I keep God first, that's real. True crime on the table, facts on steel. Investigations, I chase that trail. If the story don't add up, I set it straight, no fail. I spot fake tears, I spot lies. Sketchy little moves, I see through the disguise. I'm fair, I'm funny, I bring that light. I call you out, then I'll still be polite.
Welcome back to In Cahoots podcast. My name is Nikki. Before we get into the video, don't forget to hype the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. Also, if you want to donate to the channel in any way, Cash App and Venmo are on the screen, and you can always click that join button to become a member. Okay, so this morning there was a court hearing regarding the Tyler Robinson case, and the internet is on fire. Everybody is torn because apparently Lance Twiggs, one of the most important witnesses in the case, doesn't have to appear in person for the preliminary hearing. He's not even going to do a WebEx call, Zoom call, Teams, hell, FaceTime. All that he has to do is provide his statement on a recorded video. Take a look at this.
This court follows the Timmerman Court's reasoning in concluding that a relaxed application of defendants' constitutional rights at the upcoming preliminary hearing is likewise appropriate because of the limited purpose of the proceeding. For example, defendant argues that permitting the state to rely on hearsay evidence, reliable hearsay evidence, deprives him of his Sixth Amendment right to effective counsel before it prevents his counsel from utilizing all the tools of effective advocacy, namely the right to cross-examine any hearsay declarants. Defendants' arguments rest on the premise that effective assistance of counsel requires access to the full range of adversarial tools, including cross-examination at every stage of the criminal proceeding. The court is not persuaded by defendants' arguments.
So the Sixth Amendment right basically gives the defendant the right to be confronted by his accusers and the witnesses that are against him. The defense right now is arguing that they're basically taking that right away from him. Here's the problem. Would I like to have Lance Twiggs there in person or at least some type of video call? Absolutely. But he technically doesn't have to right now. And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of getting a little lost in the rage, because that right is strongest at the actual trial where guilt or innocence is actually being determined. They're trying to make sure that they have enough evidence to even move forward with a trial at all. Now, me personally, I don't like it, obviously. Like I said before, I would like for him to be there because it does feel a bit unfair that someone so important to this trial gets to give his version and his side of the story without to be cross-examined right then and there. Basically, it just feels like the court is just going to be hearing just a one-sided story. And again, I know very well this is not the actual trial, and the defense will have the opportunity to confront witnesses, but that's only if the case actually makes it to trial. But something about this still just feels a bit fishy to me, because I don't think that they want this case to go to trial. It seems to me like he might just get Lee Harvey Oswald. Allegedly. But we're just going to have to wait and see. So moving on, ERIKA Kirk, of course, attended the Educator Summit. And there were just a few things in this little sit down that kind of caught my eye. I want to play a clip for you guys. Take a look.
And so now you're the CEO. What has been some of the challenges, but also some of the blessings of stepping into that role, a role that you had not anticipated that was going to happen like that?
Let me pull the curtain back just a little bit for you guys, because I think a lot of people have some misunderstanding is not the right word, but I think it's just helpful to clarify a few things here. Those of you who have spouses that you have watched build a company, an organization, a startup, that you've been alongside them for that, you see the inner workings of things. You see how much they pour their heart and their soul into something. You see the decisions. You become their confidant. You become their vault. You become their sounding board. And so
in other words, you feel as though you are qualified because he told you about his day when he came home every night. Okay. Was ERIKA actually being trained? Did he have her hands on? I understand that, she was very much involved with the Turning Point Faith. I get that. But as far as, TPUSA and just a whole entire organization in a nutshell, were you there every single day, or were you at home being a stay-at-home mom like Charlie said you were? Like you said you were, ERIKA? Which one is it? Because it can't be both. Him coming home telling you about his day does not qualify you to be CEO.
a company, an organization, daylight between us. So him and I were always in lockstep. And we, just like anyone else, I mean, we had a emergency plan, which obviously we never thought would have to be executed on, but it's one of those things where we obviously have had the conversation of, God forbid, if something happens to you or myself, what's the plan? We were not foreign to death threats, or I personally got rape threats. We have kidnapping threats. It's not something that's foreign to us. So it was a conversation that needed to be had. And of course it's uncomfortable, but life is life. Life is short. It's good to know that you have a plan.
Excuse me, Eric, excuse me. Question. Were you in the room when they set up this emergency plan? Like, did you know about it? Because when you said...
First questions they asked was, God forbid if something happens to you, like what would happen next to Turning Point? And Charlie made a really interesting point. He said, companies, example, Apple, Macintosh, he said, they're founder-led. He said, but what I have built will one day, if I'm not around, be vision-led. And he had made mention at the end, ERIKA will do a great job running it. And when I watched that video this week, it really put into perspective.
I was in November, and you said you had just watched that video that week. When you talk about this emergency plan that you guys have had, you always talked about that you never finished a sentence, first of all, but you always say, if we always said it, if something ever happened, I get this or that, God forbid, if something ever happens, what's the plan? So what was the plan, ERIKA? Do you guys realize that ERIKA never actually says out of her mouth that Charlie told her, honey, I want you to take over this company if anything were to ever happen? Just take a second and think about that. If you guys know of a video, please let me know, because I'd love to see it. I have never once heard ERIKA say, Charlie told me he wants me to take over this company. She never outright says that Charlie told her that he wants her to run it to her face. She never says that. So my question is, what was the plan that you guys talked about? You say that he told everybody. What plan did you come up with, ERIKA?
It wasn't an unknown thing. God forbid if something happened, this is the route we're going to take. I am so grateful.
What was the route, ERIKA? How come she never actually says it? Anyone else would have no problem saying, yeah, my husband and I, we would always sit down and talk about me taking over the company if something were to ever happen to him. But she never outright says it. It's weird.
Charlie had me involved in literally as much as possible with Turning Point USA, TPUSA Faith, other programs within the Turning Point USA umbrella. So much so to the point when everything happened, there was a 0% learning curve here. So I didn't walk into the office for the first time being like, wow, what is this place? There's 6 buildings. But before all of this, I used to take the kids to the office pretty much daily, sometimes because like Gigi would have dance class and stuff like that, every other day, whatever, but I would bring them in because I wanted them to see Daddy doing his radio show. I wanted them to be able to see running around the offices, having fun and making friends with some of the employees because they would give them gifts. Like it was a family, and it still is a family, and that's the way that the organization has always operated. And so when it came to the moments after everything happened, I didn't look at the room and say, Huts, who are you? I didn't. I knew all of them by name. I know a vast majority of our staff by name. I know their families. I know their backgrounds. I know what programs they're working on. I never had to say, Huts, what are you guys doing for Turning Point Education? You need to stop. Because what happens is, and those of you who own...
I'm sorry, I just had like a mini attack just now. But what did she just say? She knew everybody. She knew their families. She knew everything about them. You want to know why I call ERIKA Regine Pinocchio Kirk? That is why. Because look at this.
Also, I'm going to be doing something kind of like a lunch with your department style thing because it is on my heart so badly. I would love to sit down with each and every one of you individually. I want to know your name, your face, like be able to pray for you guys and really just know you. And so since I can't do individually just yet, because that would be a long day and time and month and year to do that, I'm going to be conjoining it through departments so we can make them very small and intimate, maybe 3 people at a time, and have lunch with you guys just to hear your heart and hear your stories about Charlie. To be honest with you, that would be amazing, and your memories with him. So that was one thing on my heart, why I wanted to also just bring you guys all together.
You knew all of who? ERIKA Regine Pinocchio Kirk. You knew everyone's backgrounds, all about them, their family. You already knew them. Did they know that you knew them? And I also find it interesting how in one of those linked Zoom calls, I remember ERIKA basically telling the employees, if you need more time to grieve, please go to your department manager, use your PTO. So what you're saying is, do not waste company time grieving, but you can waste company time being away from your desk, hanging out with the kids, and babysitting until mommy comes back. And that's just if Mikey McCoy's wife is unavailable. Now for the infamous clip that's been going around X, spreading like wildfire. Hut is going to ask her basically how she was able to forgive Tyler Robinson and say that on stage.
But when I said that, it was because it was something I really meant. And again, it wasn't scripted. And I just knew that saying that was my moment of being able to literally make a statement against Satan saying, you can take my husband and you can try to divide this country, but I refuse to let you take any piece of me because I need to be here for my babies.
That did not sit well with a lot of people. it's an odd thing to say. See, I can't even defend her because I want to say, well, okay, I think maybe she meant it like, okay, well, you could try to break me down, but I won't let you, really, I don't know, hell. She basically just, I don't know what to say. I really just tried. Did you guys see me try? I tried. Did you see me? I tried. I don't know. I think that she just needs to think before she actually speaks. She needs to remember her lies. She needs to understand how things are going to come off to other people. And sure, you don't have to care what people think about you, but in the position that ERIKA KIRK is in the situation she's in, you do have to think before you speak. That's such an odd thing to say. You can have him. You can do that. You can destroy the world. Go ahead. Don't touch me, though. Okay? I got to be right here. Don't touch me. You can have him. That's weird to say. That's a terrible... I don't know how to... I tried to fix it. I did. You guys saw me try to fix it. I'm kind of proud of myself for trying, But that's a weird thing to say. You guys tell me in the comments what you thought about that line there. But I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to hype the video, subscribe, like, share, comment, turn on your notifications. Click the join button to become a member. That helps to support the channel. If you want to donate to the channel, Cash App and Venmo are right there on your screen. Every little bit helps. And you can also follow me on social media. My X, TikTok, and Instagram are right there on your screen. Until next time, my name is Nikki. This has been It Cahoots Podcast. Bye.